The morning sun rose over New Busan like any other day. Kim Tae-ho stood at the observation deck, watching the mining crews head out to the crystal fields. He had been running Research Station Omega-7 for 3 years now, and the routine had become second nature to him. The station buzzed with its usual activity. 847 people called this place home, scattered across the main complex and smaller outposts. They were miners, scientists, engineers, and support staff who had traveled light years from Earth to make a new life on this distant world. Dr. Lee So-ra walked into the command center, carrying her daily report on the crystal formations. She looked tired but excited, the way she always did when she discovered something new. "The energy readings are getting stronger," she told Tae-ho. "These crystals are not just pretty rocks. They're storing massive amounts of power, and I think they're connected underground." Tae-ho nodded but didn't look too concerned. So-ra had been studying the crystals for months, always finding new things about them. The formations were beautiful, standing like giant blue pillars across the landscape. They helped make New Busan one of the most scenic colony worlds humans had found. In the engineering section, Nam Ki-woo was fixing a broken water recycler. The station's systems were getting old, but he knew every pipe and wire by heart. He had built half of them himself when the colony was first established. "Everything breaking down at once today," he muttered to his assistant, "but we'll keep her running. We always do." Park Min-soo made his rounds through the security checkpoints. As head of station security, he kept 50 trained guards ready for anything. Not that they expected trouble. New Busan was far from any trade routes or conflict zones. The biggest excitement they usually had was when someone found an interesting mineral sample. The security chief checked his watch. The supply ship from Earth was 2 days late, but that wasn't unusual. Space travel had its delays, and they had enough supplies to last for months. Han Yu-jin was in the hangar working on one of the transport shuttles. She was the best pilot on the station, able to fly through New Busan's tricky mountain ranges without breaking a sweat. Her military training from Earth had served her well in the colony's early days when they needed to map the planet quickly. "This old girl needs new parts," she said, patting the shuttle's hull, "but she'll fly when we need her to." In the medical bay, Choi Eun-bi was running routine health checks on the mining crews. Something had been bothering her for weeks. The scans showed that people living on New Busan were getting stronger and faster. Their reflexes were improving, and they seemed to need less sleep than normal. "It's probably just the lower gravity and cleaner air," she told herself, but the changes were too consistent to ignore. Every human on the planet was adapting in the same way. The day continued normally until the long-range sensors picked up something unusual. The communications officer called Tae-ho to the main screen. "Sir, we're detecting multiple objects approaching the system. They're big and they're moving fast." Tae-ho studied the sensor display. 12 large ships were heading straight for New Busan. They were still days away, but their course was clear. "Could be a trading fleet," someone suggested. "No," Han Yu-jin said, looking at the flight patterns. "Those are military formations." "I've seen them before," Park Min-soo frowned. "Military? From which colony?" "Not human," Yu-jin replied quietly. "The engine signatures are all wrong. These aren't our ships." The command center fell silent. In 3 years, they had never detected alien vessels anywhere near their system. Earth's deep space scouts had confirmed that this region was empty of intelligent life. Tae-ho made the decision to put the station on yellow alert. Not full emergency, but ready for anything. The mining crews returned to base and all shuttles were recalled from their routes. Dr. So-ra noticed something strange happening to her crystals. They were glowing brighter than usual, pulsing with a rhythm that matched the approaching ships. The energy readings were off the charts. "It's like they're responding to something," she reported. "The crystals are active in ways I've never seen before." Nam Ki-woo started checking all the station's systems. If they were going to meet aliens for the first time, everything needed to work perfectly. He powered up backup generators and made sure all communications equipment was ready. The approaching fleet was still 3 days away when they sent their first message. The translation computers worked slowly, but the meaning became clear. The aliens called themselves the Velthari Empire. Their leader, Overlord Kethron, spoke with the voice of someone used to being obeyed without question. "Humans of the third planet," the message said, "you have defiled sacred ground. This world belongs to the Velthari and our ancestors. You will leave within 1 rotation of your planet, or you will be removed. Taeho gathered his senior staff in the conference room. The faces around the table showed worry, confusion, and determination. They're giving us 24 hours to pack up 3 years of work and abandon our home. Park Min-soo said. That's not happening. Maybe we can negotiate, suggested Dr. Sora. We didn't know this was their world. Perhaps we can share it or find a compromise. Han Yu-jin shook her head. I've seen this kind of ultimatum before. They're not interested in talking. They want us gone, and they'll use force to make it happen. Choi Eun-bi spoke up from her corner. There's something else. The medical scans show that everyone on the station is showing increased stress hormones, but also improved physical capabilities. It's like our bodies are preparing for something. Taeho looked around the room at his people. They were farmers, scientists, and technicians who had come to New Busan to build a peaceful life. Now they faced the possibility of war with an alien empire. Send a reply, he decided. Tell them we're willing to discuss the situation. Maybe there's been a misunderstanding. But even as he gave the order, Taeho knew it probably wouldn't work. The alien message had been too final, too demanding. The Velthari weren't coming to talk. Outside the station, the crystal formations pulsed brighter in the growing darkness. Dr. Sora watched them through the lab windows, wondering what secrets they held. The ancient pillars seemed to be waiting for something, as if they remembered visitors from long ago. The countdown to the alien deadline had begun, and New Busan's 847 human residents prepared for whatever came next. The Velthari fleet arrived exactly when their message had promised. 12 massive ships dropped out of hyperspace and took positions around New Busan. Each vessel was larger than anything humans had ever built. Dark metal hulls covered in strange symbols that seemed to shift and move. Kim Tae-ho stood in the communication center, trying to establish a diplomatic channel with the alien fleet. The main screen showed Overlord Kethrin, a tall being with silver skin and 4 arms. His eyes glowed red, and his voice carried the weight of absolute authority. Human leader, Kethrin spoke through the translators. Your time has ended. This world was sacred to my people before your species learned to make fire. You have 20 minutes to begin evacuation procedures. Taeho kept his voice calm and respectful. Overlord Kethran, we had no knowledge that this world was important to your people. We've found no signs of previous civilization here. Perhaps we can reach an agreement that benefits both our species. The alien's expression didn't change. You dig in our ancestral burial grounds. You poison our sacred crystals with your presence. There is nothing to discuss. Leave now or be removed. Dr. Lee Sora stepped forward. The crystals? We've been studying them, not harming them. They're fascinating formations that seem to store energy. If they're important to your culture, we can work together to protect them. Catherine's 4 arms moved in what might have been anger. You understand nothing, primitive creature. Those crystals contain the spirits of our greatest warriors. Your crude instruments disturb their eternal rest. Park Min-soo watched the exchange from his position at the security console. His fingers hovered over the alert system. The alien ships had weapons that could turn the entire station into ash, but something in their leader's attitude bothered him. There was too much confidence, too much certainty that humans would simply run away. 20 minutes has become 10 minutes, Kethran announced. Begin your evacuation now. We need more time, Taeho said. 800 people can't leave a planet in 10 minutes. Our ships aren't designed for mass evacuation. That is not our concern. You should have prepared for this day when you chose to defile our world. The connection ended, leaving the command center in tense silence. Every eye was on Taeho, waiting for his decision. Options? He asked. Han Yu-jin looked up from her flight status board. We have 6 shuttles that can carry maybe 30 people each. The cargo ships can take more, but they're not set up for passengers. Even working nonstop, it would take days to evacuate everyone. Nam Ki-woo shook his head, and we'd have to leave everything behind. 3 years of infrastructure, research, and equipment. All the work we've put into making this place home. More than that, added Dr. Sora, the crystal formations here are unique in known space. If we leave now, we lose the chance to understand them. The scientific value alone is worth billions. Choi Eun-bi spoke quietly from her medical station. I've been monitoring everyone's vital signs. The stress is high, but people are adapting faster than normal. Heart rates are elevated but steady. It's like our bodies are preparing for a fight. Park Min-soo made his decision first. I won't abandon my home because some aliens claim it's theirs. We built this place with our own hands. We've earned the right to stay. The others nodded in agreement. Tejo felt a weight settle on his shoulders, but also a strange sense of relief. Then we stay. All departments begin emergency protocols. This is not a drill. The 10-minute deadline passed without any humans leaving the planet. The response from the Velthari fleet was swift and terrible. Energy beams lanced down from orbit, striking the main communication array and the landing pads. The attacks were precise, designed to trap the humans on the surface without killing them immediately. The aliens wanted to make an example of what happened to species that defied the Velthari Empire. "Communications are down," reported the technical officer. "The landing pads are slag. They've cut us off from space." "Defensive systems?" asked Park Min-soo. "The mining laser array is still operational, but it wasn't designed for combat. We have personal weapons for security, but nothing that can reach orbit." Tejo activated the station-wide intercom. "All personnel, this is Director Tejo. We are under attack by an alien force. Evacuate to the underground sections immediately. This is not a drill. We will defend our home." The station erupted into controlled chaos as families grabbed emergency supplies and headed for the deeper levels. The underground sections had been built to protect against asteroid strikes and solar flares. They would have to serve as bomb shelters now. Dr. Sora ran to her lab to collect her crystal research data. As she worked, she noticed something remarkable happening outside. The crystal formations across the planet were glowing brighter with each alien energy blast. It was as if they were absorbing the weapons fire. In the engineering section, Nam Ki-woo was rerouting power from damaged systems to keep life support running. "These aliens think they're so smart," he muttered. "But they don't know how stubborn humans can be." The second wave of attacks came an hour later. Velthari dropships descended through the atmosphere, landing troops around the station perimeter. The aliens wore powered armor and carried energy weapons that could melt through steel. Park Min-soo organized his security teams in the underground tunnels. "Remember, we know these corridors better than they do. Use that advantage. Make them pay for every step." The first alien soldiers entered the station through the damaged upper levels. They moved with the confidence of conquerors, expecting to find cowering humans ready to surrender. Instead, they found empty corridors and sealed blast doors. The humans had vanished into the maze of maintenance tunnels and mining shafts that honeycombed the underground complex. Overlord Kethran watched the operation from his flagship, growing irritated. The humans should have surrendered by now. This kind of resistance was unexpected from such a primitive species. "Deploy more troops," he ordered. "I want this infestation cleaned out within the hour." But the Velthari soldiers found no humans to fight in the upper levels. The real battle was just beginning in the dark tunnels below, where human knowledge of their own home would prove more valuable than advanced alien technology. Dr. Sora huddled in her underground lab, studying the crystal energy readings that grew stronger by the hour. Nam Ki-woo worked by emergency lighting to keep the power grid running. Choi Eun-bi set up a medical station to treat the wounded who would surely come. And in the deepest tunnels, Park Min-soo prepared his defenders for a kind of warfare the proud Velthari Empire had never encountered before. The underground tunnels of New Busan became a deadly maze for the Velthari soldiers. What should have been a simple cleanup operation turned into a nightmare of ambushes and traps. Park Min-soo crouched in the maintenance shaft above Tunnel 7, watching a squad of alien soldiers move through the narrow passage below. They were big creatures, nearly 8 feet tall in their powered armor, but the human-sized tunnels forced them to move in single file. He nodded to his team and dropped a mining charge behind the last soldier. The explosion sealed the tunnel, trapping the squad with no way back to the surface. In the darkness ahead, more humans waited with tools that had become weapons. Dr. Lee Sora worked frantically in her underground lab, surrounded by crystal samples and energy readings that made no sense. The formations on the surface were absorbing every energy blast from the alien weapons, storing power like massive batteries. "These aren't just crystals," she whispered to her assistant. "They're part of a network. Something built these formations long ago, and they're designed to collect and redirect energy." Nam Ki-woo had turned the maintenance tunnels into his personal fortress. Every corridor had backup power systems, emergency lighting, and hidden panels that only he knew about. When alien soldiers tried to cut through blast doors, they found live power cables waiting behind the metal. "You want to play with electricity?" he muttered, watching security monitors as another Velthari soldier was thrown backward by a high-voltage surprise. "Let me show you some tricks." The aliens had superior weapons and armor, but they were fighting blind in unfamiliar territory. Every turn led to another dead end or booby trap. Their energy weapons were powerful but useless in the tight spaces where humans could duck and weave between support beams. Han Yu-jin had taken 3 volunteers on a mission to the surface. They moved through service tunnels that led to the damaged hangar bay, where one of the shuttles might still be functional. "We need eyes in the sky," she told her team, "and maybe we can give these aliens a surprise they won't forget." The shuttle's engines had been damaged by the orbital bombardment, but Yu-jin's years of keeping old equipment running paid off. She bypassed the damaged systems and rerouted power through backup circuits that weren't supposed to handle that much current. "She'll fly," Yu-jin announced. "Maybe not for long, but long enough." Meanwhile, Choi Yunbi had turned her medical station into a research lab. The blood samples she collected from injured defenders showed remarkable changes. Human reflexes were improving hour by hour, as if the planet itself was helping them adapt to combat. "It's not just adrenaline," she reported to Taeho over the emergency radio. "Everyone's nervous system is operating at peak efficiency. Reaction times are 50% faster than normal." The Velthari commanders grew frustrated as their casualties mounted. These primitive humans were supposed to run away, not fight back with such effectiveness. The underground complex was becoming a graveyard for alien soldiers who expected easy conquest. Overlord Kethrin called for reinforcements from his fleet. "Send another 1,000 troops," he ordered. These insects cannot hide forever, but the humans weren't just hiding. Park Min-soo had organized hunting parties that moved through the tunnel system like ghosts. They would strike a patrol, disappear into passages too small for the aliens to follow, then emerge somewhere else to strike again. Dr. Sora made her breakthrough in the early hours of the second day. The crystal network wasn't just storing energy from the alien weapons. It was learning their frequency patterns and building up to some kind of response. "Taeho," she called over the radio. "I think these crystals are some kind of ancient defense system. They're analyzing every energy signature the aliens use. Can you activate them?" The director asked from his command bunker. "I'm trying, but they were built by technology far beyond anything we understand. I need more time." Time was exactly what the human defenders were buying with their blood. Every alien soldier stopped in the tunnels gave Sora another few minutes to understand the crystal network. Nam Ki-woo had rigged half the mining charges in storage to his personal detonator. When a full company of Velthari troops tried to breach the main power plant, he brought down 3 levels of ceiling on their heads. "Hope you enjoyed that," he said, dusting off his hands. "Because there's plenty more where that came from." Han Yu-jin launched her patched-up shuttle just as alien fighters swept over the station. Her ship wasn't fast or well-armed, but it was small and agile. She skimmed between the crystal formations, using them as cover while she studied the enemy positions. "Taeho, this is Yu-jin," she reported. "I count 15 dropships and maybe 300 troops on the surface. But they're all focused on getting into the tunnels. Their rear areas are wide open. What are you thinking? Give me some of Kiwoo's mining charges and I'll show these aliens what human pilots can do." The shuttle's cargo bay was loaded with every explosive Nam Ki-woo could spare. Yu-jin flew her converted bomber on a path that took her behind the alien landing zone, where fuel and supply ships sat unguarded. The Velthari had never fought an enemy that turned civilian equipment into weapons of war. Their military doctrine didn't account for mining shuttles loaded with industrial explosives. Yu-jin's attack run destroyed 6 supply ships and a fuel depot. The aliens suddenly found themselves cut off from resupply, with their forces scattered through tunnels that were becoming more dangerous by the hour. In the crystal lab, Dr. Sora finally understood what the ancient builders had created. The formations weren't just defensive weapons. They were part of a planetary consciousness, designed to protect the world from any threat. The crystals aren't storing Velthari spirits, she realized. They're the spirits. Some ancient species uploaded their minds into this network before they died, and they don't like invaders any more than we do. She placed her hands on the largest crystal sample and concentrated on the pattern she had discovered. The formations across the planet began to pulse in rhythm, building towards something the Velthari Empire had never encountered before. The aliens in the tunnels felt it first. Their energy weapons started to malfunction as the crystals began broadcasting interference on frequencies that disrupted Velthari technology. "What's happening to our equipment?" demanded the alien field commander. His answer came in the form of a massive energy pulse that swept across the planet's surface. Every Velthari weapon, vehicle, and communication device shut down simultaneously, leaving the aliens stranded and defenseless. The humans in the tunnels heard the pulse as a deep, musical note that seemed to come from the planet itself. For the first time since the battle began, the defenders allowed themselves to hope. The ancient guardians of New Busan had awakened, and they had chosen their side. The moment the Velthari weapons died, Park Min-soo knew the war had changed. His security teams emerged from the tunnels like hunting wolves, ready to turn the tables on their alien invaders. "All teams, this is Min-soo," he broadcast over the human communication network. "The aliens are blind and helpless. Time to show them what happens when you mess with our home." The Velthari soldiers found themselves trapped in unfamiliar tunnels with useless weapons and failing armor. Their night vision systems had shut down with everything else, leaving them stumbling in darkness that the humans knew by heart. Dr. Lee Sora worked with the Crystal Network, learning to direct its power with growing confidence. The ancient minds within the formations were eager to help, sharing knowledge that had been stored for millions of years. "I can target specific equipment," she reported to Taeho. "The crystals can disrupt any technology the aliens try to use. But there's more. These formations can do things we never imagined." Nam Ki-woo led teams of engineers and miners through the complex, hunting down stranded alien soldiers. They moved with confidence now, using maintenance crawlways and service ducts that the tall aliens couldn't follow. "Remember," he told his people, "they came here to kill us all. Show them the same mercy they planned to show our families." The Velthari troops tried to retreat to the surface, but the humans had sealed most of the exits. Those passages that remained open led to carefully prepared ambush points where mining tools became deadly weapons. Han Yu-jin landed her shuttle near one of the disabled alien dropships. The Velthari crew was trying to repair their systems manually, but they had never worked without their advanced computers before. She approached the ship with a team of volunteers, all carrying weapons stripped from alien soldiers who would never need them again. The shuttle's crew surrendered without a fight, the first aliens to realize that their situation was hopeless. "Interesting," Yu-jin said, examining the alien technology. "Their stuff is more advanced than ours, but it's completely dependent on their main systems. Take that away and they're helpless." She studied the ship's design with an engineer's eye. The Velthari had built everything to work together in perfect harmony, but that also meant that disrupting one system could bring down everything else. Choi Yunbi moved through the tunnel network, treating wounded humans and examining captured aliens. The medical scans revealed something remarkable about the invaders. "They're not warriors," she reported to the command team. "Their physiology shows they've lived in artificial environments for generations. They have no natural immunities, no survival instincts. They're completely dependent on their technology." The Velthari had ruled their empire for so long that they had forgotten how to fight without their machines. They were like children playing with toys they didn't understand, helpless when those toys were taken away. Park Min-soo coordinated the systematic capture of alien positions throughout the complex. His teams moved with the precision of hunters who knew every rock and shadow of their territory. "Tunnel 6 is clear," reported one squad leader. "Found 12 aliens trying to dig their way out with their bare hands." "Storage Bay 3 secured," called another. "The aliens here were trying to eat the emergency rations. Apparently their suits provide all their nutrition, and now they're starving." The proud Velthari Empire was learning what humans had always known, that survival required more than advanced technology. It needed adaptability, resourcefulness, and the will to keep fighting when everything went wrong. Dr. Sora discovered that she could use the Crystal Network to monitor the alien fleet in orbit. The ships were trying to maintain power, but the planetary energy field was disrupting their systems from millions of miles away. "They can't leave," she announced. "The crystals have created an interference field that extends throughout the solar system. Any ship that tries to use hyperspace engines will be destroyed." Overlord Kethran paced the bridge of his flagship, watching his invasion force disappear from his tactical displays one by one. This was impossible. Primitive humans could not defeat the technology of the Velthari Empire. "Send landing parties to recover our equipment," he ordered. "These creatures must have found some ancient weapon. We will take it from them and add it to our arsenal." But the fresh troops that landed on New Busan found no ancient weapons to capture. They found humans who had grown tired of being invaded, and who had learned that aliens died just as easily as anyone else when shot, stabbed, or blown up. Nam Kiwu had booby-trapped every approach to the station. The new Velthari soldiers walked into mining fields that had been converted into deadly obstacles. Their advance lasted exactly 15 minutes before the survivors retreated in panic. Han Yu-jin took her captured alien ship on a test flight, amazed at how well it performed once she figured out the manual controls. The vessel was fast and maneuverable, with weapons that could punch through heavy armor. "If we can capture more of these," she told Taeho, "we can take the fight to their fleet." The idea spread quickly through the human defenders. Why hide in tunnels when they could steal the aliens' own ships and use them as weapons? Park Min-soo organized hunting parties that specifically targeted Velthari pilots and ship crews. These aliens were even less prepared for ground combat than the soldiers, having spent their lives in the safety of their vessels. Within hours, the humans had captured 5 more dropships and 2 larger transport vessels. Han Yu-jin trained other pilots on the alien controls, creating an impromptu air force that the Velthari never saw coming. Dr. Sora worked with the Crystal Network to coordinate the growing human counterattack. The ancient minds shared targeting data and tactical information, helping the colonists plan their moves with the precision of a species that had fought galactic wars eons ago. "The crystals remember everything," she explained. "Every battle ever fought on this world, every invader that ever tried to conquer it, and they all lost." The Velthari ground commander sent desperate messages to his orbital fleet. "The humans have turned our own weapons against us. They fight like demons and show no mercy. Request immediate orbital bombardment of our own positions." But Overlord Kethron refused to destroy his own forces. The Empire's reputation depended on swift, clean victories over inferior species. Admitting that humans had defeated his invasion would damage Velthari prestige throughout the galaxy. "Adapt and overcome," he ordered. "Use primitive weapons if necessary. These animals cannot be allowed to defeat the Empire." The aliens tried to fight with knives and clubs, but they had no experience with such crude tools. The humans, meanwhile, had grown up using their hands to build everything they needed to survive. Choi Yunbi watched from her medical station as the last organized Velthari resistance crumbled. The aliens were breaking psychologically, unable to comprehend a universe where their technology failed and their enemies fought back. "It's over," she announced. "The ones we've captured are going into shock. They can't process what's happening to them." The great Velthari invasion of New Busan had lasted less than 3 days. But the humans were just getting started. They had alien ships, alien weapons, and alien prisoners. Most importantly, they had learned that their enemies were not as powerful as they pretended to be. The hunters had become the hunted, and the prey was proving to have very sharp teeth. Kim Taeho stood in the recovered command center, looking at displays that showed a complete reversal of the battle situation. The humans now controlled 15 Velthari ships and had taken over 300 alien prisoners. It was time to finish what the Empire had started. "I want everyone to understand something," he announced to his senior staff. "These aliens came here to commit genocide. They weren't interested in negotiation or compromise. They wanted to exterminate every human on this planet." Park Min-soo nodded grimly. "The ones we captured keep asking when we'll return them to their ships. They don't understand that this is war, not some kind of game with rules." Dr. Lee Sora had spent the past day learning to fully control the Crystal Network. The ancient minds within the formations had shared combat techniques from wars fought across the galaxy millions of years ago. "The crystals can do more than disrupt technology," she reported. "They can enhance our equipment, improve our weapons, even boost our physical abilities. The previous owners of this planet were very thorough in their preparations." Han Yu-jin walked into the room wearing a modified Velthari flight suit. She had been working with captured alien pilots, learning everything she could about their fleet's capabilities and weaknesses. "Their command ship is a fortress," she explained. "Overlord Kethron has pulled all his remaining forces back to protect it. But the ship has one weakness. It needs to lower its shields to launch fighters or receive communications." Nam Ki-woo looked up from an alien control console he had been studying. "Their technology is impressive, but it's built for a species that never expects to lose. Everything has backup systems and safety features, but no self-destruct mechanisms. They can't even scuttle their own ships." Choi Yunbi had been examining the psychological profiles of captured Velthari officers. They're breaking down completely. Their entire worldview is based on being superior to other species. When that belief crumbles, they have nothing left. Taeho made his decision. We're going to end this war today. Not just drive them off, but make sure they never come back. The galaxy needs to learn what happens when someone tries to exterminate humanity. The plan was ambitious beyond anything the colonists had ever attempted. They would use captured alien ships to approach the fleet, then turn the vessels into weapons against their former masters. Dr. Sora worked with the Crystal Network to coordinate the attack. The formations across New Busan pulsed with energy, creating a web of power that connected every human on the planet. I can link our nervous systems through the crystals, she explained. Everyone will be able to share information instantly, like a hive mind, but without losing individual control. The sensation was overwhelming at first. Every human on New Busan could suddenly feel the thoughts and emotions of their neighbors. But instead of chaos, it created perfect unity of purpose. Han Yu-jin led the aerial assault with 12 captured Velthari ships, each crewed by humans who had never flown alien technology before. But with the Crystal Network guiding them, they moved with the precision of veteran pilots. The Velthari fleet opened fire as soon as the ships approached, not realizing that their own vessels had been turned against them. The energy weapons that should have destroyed the approaching craft instead powered them up, thanks to modifications Nam Ki-woo had made using crystal technology. Target their engine systems first, Yu-jin broadcast to her pilots. We want them alive but helpless. The human-controlled ships tore through the Velthari fleet's formation with shocking effectiveness. The aliens had designed their vessels to fight enemies who use different technology, not their own ships turned against them. Park Min-soo coordinated the ground assault on the remaining Velthari positions. With the Crystal Network enhancing their abilities, human fighters moved like ghosts through the battlefield, appearing wherever the enemy was weakest. Remember, he told his teams, we're not just fighting for New Busan anymore. We're fighting for every human colony that might face this same threat someday. The Velthari ground forces collapsed within hours. Their officers surrendered in groups, unable to comprehend how primitive humans had turned their technological advantage into a liability. Nam Ki-woo had rigged several captured dropships as flying bombs, loading them with mining explosives and setting them on collision courses with the alien fleet. The Velthari point defense systems couldn't target their own vessels, creating gaps that the human pilots exploited ruthlessly. Overlord Kethron watched his empire's fleet being systematically destroyed by the very species he had planned to exterminate. His communications officer reported that 3 more ships had gone dark, their crews either dead or captured. This is impossible, he insisted. Humans are barely out of their caves. They have no advanced technology, no military tradition, no understanding of galactic warfare. But the evidence was undeniable. The primitive creatures had adapted to alien technology faster than seemed possible, turning captured weapons and ships against their former owners with deadly effectiveness. Dr. Sora used the Crystal Network to broadcast a message directly into the mind of every Velthari in the system. The alien language came naturally to her now, shared by the ancient consciousness within the formations. Overlord Kethron, she said, her voice echoing in his thoughts. You came to our world claiming it was sacred to your people. You were wrong. This planet is sacred to those who died defending it against invaders like you. And now it is sacred to us. The psychological impact on the Velthari was devastating. They were a species that believed in the superiority of technology and the natural order of empire. Having their own thoughts invaded by primitive humans shattered their fundamental beliefs. Choi Yunbi monitored the health of both human and alien personnel through the Crystal Network. The humans were operating at peak efficiency, their bodies enhanced by the planet's ancient defenses. The aliens, meanwhile, were showing signs of complete mental breakdown. They're not adapted for this kind of stress, she reported. Their culture has sheltered them from real adversity for so long that they can't cope with defeat. The final assault began when Han Yu-jin led her fighter squadron in a direct attack on Kethron's command ship. The massive vessel's shields flickered as the Crystal Network interfered with its power systems. This is for every human you plan to murder, Yu-jin said, as she fired the killing shot into the ship's bridge. Overlord Kethron died without understanding how his superior civilization had been defeated by creatures he considered barely sentient. His last thought was a desperate plea to gods who had abandoned the Velthari long ago. The remaining alien ships surrendered or fled, but Dr. Sora's crystal network reached across the solar system to disable their hyperspace engines. None of the Velthari invaders would escape to carry word of their defeat back to the Empire. Tejo stood on the observation deck looking out at a sky filled with captured alien vessels now under human control. The colonists had not just survived an attempted genocide, they had turned their enemy's strength against them. "Send a message to Earth," he ordered. "Tell them that New Busan has defended itself against alien invasion, and tell them that humanity now has a fleet." The crystal formations pulsed gently in the evening light, their ancient guardians satisfied that the planet remained in worthy hands. The humans had proven themselves as defenders, and the formations shared their accumulated knowledge freely. Park Minsu began organizing the captured alien technology for study and reverse engineering. Nam Ki-woo started planning how to integrate Velthari systems with human designs. Choi Eun-bi prepared medical facilities for the long process of interrogating alien prisoners. The war that was supposed to exterminate humanity had instead given them the tools they needed to defend themselves among the stars. The Velthari Empire had made their last mistake when they underestimated the species that refused to surrender. New Busan had become more than a colony world. It was now a fortress, armed with alien technology and protected by ancient powers that had waited millions of years for worthy inheritors. The message to any other species considering human conquest was clear: approach at your own risk.